Hello and thank you for joining me for an ITY video. We're here at CA World 2016 in Las Vegas and I'm joined by Richard Gerdis, the VP of DevOps in the APJ region. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Alex.
So I thought I'd just start where I always do and ask you to tell us a little bit about your role at CA Technologies and a little bit about your history at the company.
So I've been at CA Technologies for 35 quarters now. As you know,
I'm waiting for you to say years there for a second.
Yeah, exactly. So just over 8 years, with a number of responsibilities. I started my career in Sydney, Australia, where I was a part of the team there, doing solution sales and helping our customers get the most benefit out of CA Technology solutions.
At the time, yeah, and of course it's radically digitally transformed.
It really has, and as is my roles, and it goes to a lot of adaptability and change. In the current role, I'm based out of Singapore. I look after our DevOps solutions across Asia, Pacific, and Japan. And really, what does that mean? It really means ensuring our customers' success in the application economy through the use of our DevOps portfolio.
Sure. And just for I'm sure everyone watching knows full well what DevOps is, but what's the definition? What's your definition of DevOps?
So, when we traditionally and historically, we've had two very different factions in organizations. You've had your development teams and you have your operations teams. And never shall the two
twain shall meet.
Correct. We're seeing such a close in the divide of these teams. Dev traditionally developed these solutions and threw them over the fence to operations, who would manage and monitor and ensure the success of those applications.
But they may not have had much of a say into how it was all being developed because they were siloed.
Correct, and what we found was the operations team were often finding problems in those solutions that were being developed on the dev side,
and finding it at the end of the cycle rather than from the beginning.
And so that throw it back over the fence, and those absolutely those iterations would continue. That becomes costly to a business. So absolutely. We found that organizations were starting to do the operational aspects earlier on in the cycle and get the advantages out of doing that. DevOps then just became this collaboration between the dev team and the ops team. And so when we talk about DevOps, I often talk about it's a cultural change that occurs within an organization. It's not necessarily something that you go and buy. You come to CA Technology and say, I'd like to buy DevOps. It's really about,
it's a way of thinking.
It is a way of thinking. It's a culture. It's a way of collaborating and connecting two traditionally siloed parts of an organization to work together to just increase scale, increase efficiency, and really get business value out to the market faster.
That said, you have launched upgraded versions of your platforms and they're much more mature. And so what are the things you're talking about and explaining to developers and to the DevOps people at this conference that CA is now helping them to do better than they were able to do this time last year?
It goes back to the opening keynote, which I know you were at with Mike Gregg, when he talked about change and how rapid change is occurring,
and how companies need to be built for change rather than for protecting their legacies, which may be being disrupted from underneath them.
Absolutely, and not necessarily.
Hence the reason for wanting to be built for change, because you want to be the disruptor.
Correct, and when we talk about certain industries and how quickly they are changing and evolving. Manufacturing is certainly a great example here in the United States, and across APJ, we see that as well with a lot of manufacturing out of countries like China.
Sure.
So from an advice perspective and where we've been discussing with our customers is DevOps is a journey. It's not something that you start and finish in a given
in a quarter or something.
Absolutely. And so it's where to start on that journey. Ultimately we want to drive automation through the software development lifecycle, and that automation and those efficiencies lead to fantastic gains for customers in the marketplace. So it's about identifying for that particular business what suits them as an organization as to where they start the journey, the DevOps journey. Often it starts from having an application that requires some monitoring. And that could lead to an end-to-end visibility against infrastructure and monitoring and managing all of that infrastructure.
And you were telling me that things that are sort of new in the DevOps space is really taking advantage of analytics, really taking customer service and support to heart. I mean, tell us about
so we've just released our CA application experience analytics, which is all about performance and usage analytics against mobile applications, browser applications, as well as wearables. So we were able to get not just that, is this application performing? We talk often, and I think the last time you and I caught up, Alex, we spoke about that sort of 3 to 5 second rule. If you have to wait that amount of time for interaction with an application, quite often you'll abandon that application and potentially abandon the brand. So we talk about ensuring a 5-star customer experience, and that goes back to 5-star reviews that you would have
on Amazon and on app stores.
Correct, on the app stores. If we can help our customers get to that 5-star experience, they're going to be more sticky. They're going to have greater brand awareness.
Well, their customers will be
absolutely
loyal, and
that's exactly where we're heading. So from an application experience analytics perspective, we're able to not just look at the performance of that application, but also the user journey that users take as they navigate through that application, where they're spending the most amount of time in that application, how they're navigating through that application, where they're coming in from, what devices are they using, how much time do they spend on any given page within that mobile application, which it opens it up to not just the IT, but extending to the business value, your marketing department, for example. Wouldn't it be great to know that users are spending more time on a given area of the application than other areas? You can do target marketing, you can do advertising against that. So
we're going to have to call it Dev Customer Ops.
It is. It's really customer centric. And, that's why we talk about a great customer experience, and that's truly how we see DevOps evolving. Moving away from that traditional siloed IT thought pattern to a very customer-centric view of the world.
Well, speaking of customers, are there any specific ones in the region that you can share with us, some things that they've been excelling at?
A great example is National Australia Bank. They started and embarked on their journey, their DevOps journey, a number of years ago now. They started with application performance monitoring with CA technologies, and they've continued to evolve that. Most recently, they've taken on board CA application experience analytics to monitor and get the usage and performance statistics out of their online banking applications that they've recently launched within the last couple of weeks, both on their iOS and Android platforms. So to be able to have that view has been incredibly powerful for them. They've identified issues before the customers identify those issues, and that just helps them to drive a really solid view into their customer base and deliver that 5-star. I was going to say that's what I was thinking.
Are they doing the 5 stars? But it's only been a couple of weeks. But.
And we see they're seeing a great uptake of their platforms, which is fantastic.
Sure. Now, a lot of what we've spoken about, National Australia Bank's been doing DevOps for some years, and obviously everything's evolving and changing, and you've launched new elements of the platform at this conference. But how else do you see things evolving over the next few years if you just gaze into the crystal ball? I know, as I was saying to somebody else, you'd be on the Bahamas with a cocktail if you knew all the answers, but just generic.
Look, I think we're going to continue to see a push for automation. There's no doubt about that. Getting to market faster, but continue to drive the quality of the customer experience. I feel we'll continue to see the drive for very mobile application specific engagements and wearables. I think you're seeing the push for wearables. You're seeing some of the big players in the market.
We hear whispers Apple's going to come out with some sort of glasses. We hear, it's just non-stop, right?
It is. The rate and pace of change and innovation is far greater than we've ever seen before, which is really exciting, and it gives organizations like CA Technologies an opportunity to work with our customers and ensure that they continue to innovate, which is good for you and I, Alex. We get the cool trends, the latest gadgets to play with.
Absolutely, yeah, love all of that. So I may have asked you this before, but I'll ask it again, and it's just one of my sort of final questions. But what's the best piece of advice you've ever received to help you get where you are today?
Yeah, I've been really fortunate. I've had a great journey. I grew up in South Africa and had an opportunity to work in Europe and then work in Australia and now in Asia. And I think the best piece of advice is just to take opportunities that are thrown to you and make the most of them. You never know when the next opportunity arises and what that may be. But from my perspective, I've
taken you around the world.
It has.
It must have exposed you to incredible learnings that you would never have had if you simply stayed at home.
That's true. Great markets. I love meeting people, engaging in different cultures, and that just gives me an opportunity to not just do great work, but actually enjoy myself at the same time.
Sure. So, do you have any final messages for ITWire viewers and readers, and for your current and future customers?
Yeah, I think now's just a great opportunity to get on the DevOps bandwagon. Just be part of that cultural change. Look at what the market is doing around DevOps, to be able to look at the work that you, Alex, do with ITWire and the amount of exposure that DevOps now has across the industry. It's an exciting space. CA Technologies is perfectly placed to ensure customer success, and just really enjoy the journey that we're taking our customers on with DevOps.
Sure. Well, Richard, thank you very much, and I wish you the best of luck for the future.
Alex, thank you.
Thank you.